Hey everyone, Charlie here. Welcome back to the channel. This is One Cuppa Japan. If you're new to the channel, this is a show where I walk around, or unfortunately, as the case has been recently, sit in my apartment with a cup of something. This is not facing the right direction, and talk to you about, just have a conversation with you about something. This week we're going to be talking about being okay with losing progress, I guess, and admitting that to yourself so that you can move on from there. Today, because not everybody, but some people do ask me sometimes, we are drinking a black coffee by the company Dido. I don't know how the flavor of this is, but I liked it because it's in a mini metal barrel. So we're gonna give it a try. We are walking around this morning, kind of close to my neighborhood. This is, as always, Sabai City, although I will be making a move to close by but different city over the summertime. As for today's topic, as I said, I want to talk today about being okay with missing steps, or losing steps, or losing progress, or whatever the case may be. I don't want to belabor the point, but as I talked about in previous episodes, I had a stretch recently where my health was not fantastic, both my physical health and my mental health. And coming out of it, I've had to make peace with a number of things. And those things have been, like, for example, like gaining weight, not being able to run for like an hour anymore without feeling like really terrible afterwards, or so that's the physical thing. Also losing just like things related to that. Sorry, there's a tractor. I don't know if you can see the tractor. Yeah, there's a tractor over there clearing the rice field. Recently the rice fields here have been being just cleared like it's going out of style, as the cool kids say, to make way for new apartment buildings, because currently there's a big boom of people moving here to Sabai. A lot of it is because Sabai is becoming kind of a bedroom town, because it's in like a really nice area, really nice distance from places like Kyoto and Osaka, so people will go to work during the week in those places, and they'll come and stay here with their family on the weekend. But it's also because the extension to the Hokuriku Shinkansen is being built currently. It's not set to finish until 2027. It's taking a very long time. But a lot of the workers are coming here and taking up all of the apartment buildings, so we are in need of more. And unfortunately, not a lot of young people are interested in becoming, oh, that's some nice sunshine, are interested in becoming farmers. So the tambo are going unused, or just the older people just can't, who do own them, who have worked them until recently, just don't have because of their age, they just don't have the power to do it anymore. We're just walking by a local park here. Sometimes I come by here because this is actually a Pokemon gym. Recently it's been controlled by the red team, which boo, Red Sox, go blue. I don't really care, please don't take offense. But anyhow, back to the topic at hand as we go here through this tunnel. And so I've prided myself recently, not too recently, but last year I prided myself on being in pretty good shape, you know. Not like my little brother, who's like, the kid's like a mini Colossus from X-Men, but I prided myself on being able to run pretty fast for pretty long. I liked the way it looked, but body-wise, felt good about myself. And recently it's just not been the case, you know. I'm starting to balloon out in places that I haven't ballooned out in a decade. A decade is saying too much, maybe 5 or 6 years. Those of you who remember what I looked like when this channel first started. So that's one thing. And then one of the other things is my Japanese ability. Now, speaking wise, through all this, I've had to talk with doctors and, of course, my partner and partner's family and everything like that. So my speaking ability is probably better than it's ever been, I think, as a matter of necessity. But one of the goals I really set for myself is because I'm trying to leave my job this year, is to really up my proficiency as a whole. And so that's meant things like studying for the Japanese business test, trying to get my JLPT1. I currently have level 2, and things like that. I don't know if you can hear, but I'm already like wheezing a little bit just from this short walk, which illustrates my point, I think, about how far things have come. And it's been unfortunate to sit down. So over there, we're gonna make our way over there. Let's see. Over there's the library, here on the left-hand side of the screen. We'll make our way over there soon. But it's just really a really gorgeous morning. I want to show this off to you. There's just houses in this area. There's another field that's going unused. If we look right up there, right? Now this, let's see, how should I angle the camera here? Now this is, this area here is called Mizochi, which means where the water falls, basically. And I love these stone structures. It's kind of the same thing you'd see underneath, like if you go to a castle or something like that. It's the same thing you'd see if you were to go and see like an old Japanese castle. This kind of the structure of boulders put on top of each other to form like a base. I love it. But anyway, this area is called Mizochi because if something happens, like a flood happens or there's a lot of rain, all the water will come down into this area, which is fun because it's where I live. And I currently live on the first floor, so that's great news. Please don't come and stalk me. But anyhow, so sitting down to study for this Japanese test and just realizing how much my vocabulary and my general knowledge of kanji have degraded. Kanji, I just said that in a strange way. Kanji have degraded in just a matter of months. And, also looking at the YouTube channel, which I just haven't touched, and realizing how much work I need to do to get it back to where it was, and to make it better than it was before. And that's my fault, all of it is my fault. It's not my fault that I got sick, but it is my fault that I let it be an excuse, and I think it's really easy to be like, well, I can't do what I could do before, and I suck, and I'm terrible, and all this kind of thing. It's really, really easy, and it's tempting, It's tempting to have that kind of self-pity. It's actually a little warm. Out here this morning. To have that self-pity. Let's hold this out here so you guys can get an angle of more than just my mug. My gigantic chin. But, to realize that actually it's okay. Take a look right here. It's one of the nice features of this area. Of course, bamboo thickets and stands of bamboo are nothing too rare here in Japan. But it is beautiful. This is another thing that I've been noticing recently is how long it's been since I've been outside and I just walked around. I used to do this all the time, even when I wasn't making one cuppas, where I would just walk. There was no goal. It was just to walk around and see things and to put my thoughts in order and that kind of thing. And then, of course, when I was running all the time too, I would see these areas every single day. I didn't think anything of it, you just sort of take it for granted, but now that I'm walking through them again, it's like, oh yeah, I forgot how nice it is to see a bamboo thicket, or I forgot how nice it is to see that stone structure we just looked at. Now this behind me here is a gate ball field, a gate ball court. Gate ball, I think, is polo. Or what is it called when it's polo but you're not on a horse? Is it just called gay ball? I don't know. I don't actually know. But anyway, here's another tombo. This one, as far as I know, is still being used. Another rice field. This one, actually pretty soon here, because now it's, we're midway through March. So pretty soon, you'll see this turn a nice verdant green. Anyhow, so all of this to say that it's been humbling, unfortunate, saddening to see how much progress I've lost in a lot of areas, because I can't do it as much these days because of basically trying to take on a lot more responsibility personally and also professionally, just trying to put enough money in the banks and pay back some debts and that kind of thing. And so I've just been trying to load myself up with work, but I think it's come to the point also where I've realized that I've been not necessarily focused on the right things all the time. Here we are in the park. The park is unfortunately yellow because of the season. But to realize that that's okay, you know. But it feels like a loss, you know. It feels like, I don't know. It's really, really strange. It's really, really strange to sit down at a desk and try to read a book and suddenly not be able to read it anymore, even though, you know, just a couple months ago you could, you know, it was no trouble. It was no trouble to sit down and read it. You could, and even manga, like shonen manga, which even with all the kanji, there's usually the readings of the kanji are written next to the kanji themselves to make it easy for younger people to read it. And unfortunately, even that presents a challenge at the moment, you know. And it's like, wow, you let your hand off the wheel for just a couple months and you're gonna be in trouble. Flowers are starting to bloom here. I'm not sure, but I think, actually I don't know, I have no idea whether they're plum or whether they're cherry blossoms. I just don't have that knowledge. Here's a really beautiful little tree. A lot of blossoms on it now. So why don't we take just getting used to using this thingamawatsim again, this selfie stick. Yeah, right, they're starting to bloom. It's supposed to be an early sakura season this year because of how warm that the winter has been. So we'll see. But unfortunately, because of all the corona blah blah blah, probably a lot of the corona events. Yeah, let's have an event to celebrate the virus. A lot of the cherry blossom events are going to be canceled this year. Is the scuttlebutt anyhow? For those of you who are new to this series, one of the I like to think some of its charm is that it is a bit rambly. Let's see if there's any fish down here. There are no fish. There's just these drainage areas. Sometimes you see little like minnows swimming through here. I don't know where they come from, but they, you know. But yeah, things tend to be rambly, and because we're walking around, I want to show you some things. We're gonna go off on some little some tangents here. God, that sun feels nice. But as I was saying, it's a strange feeling to find that something you could do only months before suddenly you can't do anymore, you know. And I don't know. It's embarrassing. The reading thing, like I have we aren't married yet, so there's no technical relationship, but I have almost like these two little nieces who I've been fortunate enough to start spending a lot more time with. Though that is a beautiful sky behind us here. But I've been fortunate enough to start spending a lot more time with. And when that happens, like I help them build Legos, or I help them read books and stuff like that. And it's been embarrassing to stutter over myself in front of these little girls, you know, because I have like, I was gonna say it's like a man thing, but it's not even a man thing. It's just like I think it's like an adult thing where it's like I want to be the adult and I want to, I mean, to be honest too, I want them to think I'm cool, you know? You know, of course I do. Because I have like the, you know how it happens, like when you have like a grandmother or something like that, where the grandmother can spoil you without sort of any repercussion because she gets to go home. Or the grandmother gets to do things that maybe the parents can't get away with because, well, again, she gets to go home, so she doesn't have to deal with the repercussions of her actions. And that's not what I mean to say. But, you know, because of that, the parents get thought of as, that sun is right in my eyeball. The parents get thought of as, you know, as the parents, and you know, if I do this, mom's gonna get mad, and then I have to deal with consequences and all that kind of thing. And subsequently, grandma gets thought of as like the cool one, you know? Oh my God, hay fever is just the worst thing ever. Grandma gets thought of as the cool one. If you look behind me here, let's see, this side, you can see along this area, my disgusting finger, all along this area here, there's like the cement reinforced area up there. It's basically the artificial version. They're all artificial, they're all man-made, but it's the cement version of the boulder structure that I showed you before. It's still beautiful in its own way, but something is definitely lost by doing it that way. Don't you think? But yeah, you know, I want to be thought of as kind of like the cool uncle, the uncle who comes around and he speaks Japanese kind of funny. He makes strange faces. He's got a big nose, but he's cool. He's cool. He helps us out. I don't want them to think there's that uncle who can't fucking read a book, you know? So, excuse the language for my young viewers. Although, according to my analytics, there aren't really any young viewers, but whatever. So, it's been this trial of trying to answer the question for myself of whether I can swallow my pride and do what I need to do to build myself back up to the level where I was before, you know? And I don't know if, oh my gosh, I almost want to take this jacket off. It's so toasty. Let's do that, actually. Let's go over here and take off the old jumper. What was I saying? It's, but as I say, it's been this exercise in whether or not I can, I don't even know if it's right to forgive myself, because it's not a trouble of forgiveness. It's a trouble of, I'm stupid and I'm prideful. And, yeah, that very well may be a man thing to heckle back to our previous story, to our previous talk. Let's put down our cuppa. Is that against the rules to put down the cuppa? Oh my goodness. YouTube's gonna demonetize me for taking off my clothes on camera. Oh, that feels a lot better. Anyhow. And the reason why it becomes a matter of pride is because I still sit down and I'm like, no man, I could read those level 2 kanji like just a couple months ago. So you know what? Today I'm gonna sit down with this level 2 text, or and I'm just gonna stick it out. And the fact is that is not a productive way to study. It's too difficult, and it's not fun, and you're just gonna be frustrated and whatever else, you know. Excuse me. And the same goes for running. I lace up, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna put in a cool 5K, and I'm gonna do it in 22-ish minutes, something like that. And it doesn't matter of fitness, and also matter of the whole hay fever thing going on right now. I'm just fucking dead by the end of it, you know? And it's a bad idea. So all this to say that it's fine to lose a step or two. Here's a toilet. Laughed at my own silliness. A toilet that is shaped like, let's give you a closer view of this toilet. I know you're super interested. If we look at this toilet, I'm sure these are more common than I think they are. But some things to note about this model. Things to note about this model. It says toilet on this toilet. And then if we go over here, you can see that it's in the shape of like a tree bottom, a tree trunk. So anyway, and I'm sure you're really glad I told you. Anyway, man, pride is a bad thing. It's a good thing in a very small dose, I think. But one thing I've realized, what are you? Piece of somebody's toy. Is that pride in anything other than a very small dose is not really going to be a good thing. And that's it. I don't know. So of course I'd be interested to hear from you guys, like, what have you ever been in a situation like that before where you lost your ability to do something that you once had? You know, it's a bummer, man. I should have taken you guys that way, because there's a vending machine that's a liar, because on the side it says like 100 yen for everything, but if you look inside, there's things for 120 yen. Yeah, no one cares, me too. And I would like to know, like, what do you do in that situation to sort of get over yourself so that you can get back to where you were, you know? And part of it, I think, is opening up to people and being like, oh, I'm being looked at by some young women who are wondering what I'm doing. I see your Shoshinsha mark. Don't judge me. Shoshinsha mark, by the way, is here in Japan, when you get your license, you have to put like a special mark on your car. It's like this. It's like a fox head shaped. It's like an arrowhead almost, and half of it's green, half of it's yellow, and it's a marker that you are a new driver, so the people behind you know why you're driving like an asshole, basically. As that person was. Asshole is a little bit harsh, but you know. So yeah, to get back to the topic here as we finish up our cuppa, I really wanted to take you to the library, so maybe I'll make this a little bit slow. God, it's a pain to carry this coat, isn't it? I feel like I'm very whiny. It's because I've been hanging out with people from the UK too much. Not an insult. I'm just saying, people from the UK like to complain, or as they say in the UK, to moan. But but anyway, so that's the current situation, is just sort of like getting myself to a point where I'm able to admit that I can't read like I once could, and I can't run like I once could. And I feel like this is going to be a recurring theme because I just turned 33. You know, that's such a defeatist thing. It's like, oh, well, I turned 33 now, so now I got to start getting old. Fuck that. I'm going to take back that statement. Take back that statement. Here we are as we walk through this line of trees on the sidewalk. I'll show you the library. Here we go. I don't want to take you too far because now they are open for business, and I don't want to show anybody on camera who doesn't want to be. Parking space behind me here. It's the library. You can walk past that. But that old guy was very curious in what I was doing. I walked through this little park area, which I really like. This area is nice because, oh, there's some people over there. Let's try and not show them to you. There's actually always quite a few people here. It's a little bit, well, it was a little bit warmer, but now it's gotten a little bit chilly because of the cloud cover. And it's gonna rain again, I imagine. But this park is quite popular, this amphitheater-like park over here, because there are, just in like this little, let's say about 400, 500 meter stretch, there are a lot of Pokestops. And the library is actually a Pokemon gym. This is the amphitheater park area here. So there are always a lot of people here, hanging out, playing Pokemon Go, that kind of thing. So anyway, Let's try and not show you that person, or that person sitting down. Oh, this is tricky. So yeah, it's a nice place to come and hang out on nice days, play Pokemon Go with the well, I don't have any kids, but if I did. And on that note, guys, thanks always for watching. It's been fun making these videos again and talking to you guys again. There are gonna be more. I have a feeling recently there's been somebody on the channel who, I'm not even gonna talk about it, but I have a feeling that people are looking for more of these walk and talk styles at one Cuppas as opposed to the ones that are just in the apartment. And I am too. So I picked up I don't really have extra cash to spend on too much vlogging stuff right now. But I did pick up a selfie stick for 110 yen at the dollar store, which is what we're using now. It seems to be doing an okay job, but it's definitely gonna break sooner than later. So until that happens, gonna be making these walk and talks as much as possible, as long as the weather holds out. That's part of the problem, is that during the season it's like rain every day. There's a woman running this way because she's desperately trying to get to work on time at the library, I imagine. But yeah, there will be more of these. So as I said, please let me know about your own situation. That's where we were before, if you can tell over there. Look over there, that stone area. That's where we were, where I showed you like the boulder base. But yeah, as I said, let me know down in the comments below. What situation have you found yourself in where you had to realize that you had lost a step, that you had de-skilled basically? I'd love to hear about that, particularly if you are somebody who has lived in another country. It'd be interesting to hear about your experience with linguistic de-skilling. My mouth doesn't work. And on that note, we shall finish our cuppa. Our barrel is empty. Our barrel is empty. And that is where we will stop for today, guys. Thanks always for watching. Please be sure to check me out on Twitter at C Hayward Jr. You can also find me on Patreon if you search for that same name. Thanks always for watching, guys. Cheers.